Hi everyone, Erin here again today, and I was looking at my old Smash book, and a friend of mine gave this, and I actually have two of them. I have a green one and I have a pink one, and it just wasn't my thing. I'm not really much of a Smash girl, and I haven't done, I did one little tester page to see if this idea would work, but truly there's nothing I have done in this book. I love the idea of the book, it's just not something that's really my thing. It even still has the pen and the case and the plastic on the front. I mean, seriously, it's been stuck on a shelf. And I haven't parted with it because it was a gift and you never know. And then I went and I was looking at all my storage that I have for my stencils, and it's a mess. It's just a little mess. I originally thought, let's do the idea of having sleeves of papers and little file folders. And it's bulky, it's cumbersome. These kind of drop down and get big. It's really hard. I don't have enough of these. And so I'm kind of coming up with a new solution of a way to incorporate both the idea that I had with this binder, which just really, I don't like it, with something kind of fun and pretty, and maybe I can do fun things in between. I obviously cannot do the large 12 by 12 sheets because it's just not going to fit in this. But all my other stencils are about, you know, in the 6 by 6 range, or they could be, just to show you some of the other ones. I mean, a 6 by 6 stencil. Some of these, I mean, look how old this is. This thing is ancient. I will probably get rid of this because I have never used it. It came as a gift. But a lot of my other stencils are just that they would very easily. This is another one that I would just have to decide, am I going to keep this or not? And probably not, because it doesn't fit in here and I've never used it. So I think it's going by the wayside. So it's a good way to also purge, go through, decide what you want and don't want. So my thought process, and I really only need two things, and I can always go back and decorate the crap out of this thing later, is to take my pages and number one, get rid of that, so I don't need it. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to rip a section, whoops, maybe not that page. If I don't like a page, I can rip it out. So I'm going to flip up a section about yay high, fold it over, kind of clean up the edges here so it can flip easily from side to side. I'm going to take a little bit of tape on the bottom side just because I can't get a stapler in all the way here. If you've got a way to staple all the way to the corner, then you don't need to do the glue gun side. Glue it in, staple on this side, and you've created a pocket. Really make sure you've got your tape in here well. And voila. I've got a little pocket, and you gotta make sure that it fits. And I don't want it to be too loose because I don't want it to slide out. And now I've got a little pocket, and if I want to write the name of the stencil up here, or I can just leave it, whatever. And then I'm just gonna leave the back side plain. And then I was gonna do the next one. Some of the pockets, like for this particular one, it's quite long, like this. So I'm not gonna tear up as far. I really wanna make sure that it fits in. And I'm okay if it goes, like I made you this a little bit shorter, which means it's not gonna get as full of a pocket. So that's one downside to this, is that this doesn't have as good, but the plus side is it's gonna get contained in the book. So as I'm flipping, it should be fine because it's all contained within the book. So I'll do one last page and then I'll just skip two and show you what it looks like when it's all said and done. So again, add a little bit of glue or tape runner or whatever you want to use to this side. Fold it up, secure it. And this does not have to be perfect. And then just pop it in. Simple as that. And I'm going to keep on going on with this. So here is my finished stencil journal, I guess is the best way to describe it. I took an old Smash book and I started compiling it into a place to store all my stencils. On each stencil, and here's a fun little trick, I just started learning as I was looking at my stencil a little closer. On some stencils, and which side is it on? It's on this side. I don't know if you can see this super well. There's a little bit of an etching on there. There it is. This one says the Crafter's Workshop. And this, the Crafter's Workshop, for all of theirs, See if I can get it. There it is. There's a serial number on the other side, and it says TWC, and it says the Crafter's Workshop. So if you happen to take the Crafter's Workshop ones out of their original packaging and you don't remember what they were, they've stenciled them in for you, so that's pretty handy. But on each folder, I also, just in the pen that came with the Smash book, I wrote Crafter's Workshop. If I still had them in the original packaging from the Stencil, I took them out because what's the point? The whole point is for me to organize them. If there was more than one, I put, well, with the exception of one section, I tend to put only 3 max in each little folder. Now for this tall one, these are the Tim Holtz ones. They were super tall and kind of thin. I did put a tiny bit of just my Scotch glue gun just up here and kind of stuck them down so they wouldn't fall all over the place. For some of these, because they were just a tiny bit too wide, I just kind of cut them off. You know, these are the Faber-Castell, and I wrote that down right here. You probably can't see it, but it's more for my guide, so when I'm writing out what supply list I'm using, I can say I use blah, blah, blah stencil from this company. These are some stencils from Die Cuts for the View that I had cut out, and it came with one of their matte stacks. And one of the things I had done is taken all my stencils and put them on the Xyron repositionable sheets, and then kept them on the backing of it. So there's a sticky side on this. I don't know if you can hear that. That's my finger sticking to it. I tried to get these to glue here, but there's a little bit of stickiness in the middle here, and it just kept sticking to the other page. So I just added them all too. But this didn't seem too bulky. These are a much thinner. You can really tell the flexibility of the stencils. So they actually fit quite well in one package. This one has a bunch of just little pieces of the Crafter's Workshop stencils. Here's one Prima stencil, and it was small enough to fit in here by itself. And I have a bunch of Imagination Crafts through here. Another set of Imagination, and it did the same thing too. I added a little bit of just of the tape runner glue right there. See, here's one where I had done, and I think this is the Crafter's Workshop. Yeah, because I wrote it up here. I had done it, and I had lost the sticky back to it, so it was really sticky, so I just stuck it to here. It may stick to the paper over time. If that's the case, it's plastic. I can just wash it off. An Wow one, more Crafter's Workshop. See here, I can put 3, stack 3 together. My favorite things. I have a big variety. And I think these ones too. Yeah, see the My Favorite Things? They add, let's see if you can see it. They add a little bit, yeah, there's an etching at the bottom of the My Favorite Things, which is pretty cool. The Faber-Castell, really easy to know which ones are Faber-Castell because they're paper. The Finnabar Prima one, it was so long, I just did a little bit of tack glue here and here, just again with my glue gun, and it just stuck to the paper. This is one I don't know, so if you happen to know who made this particular stencil, let me know and I can add it. So add that to my comments because I cannot remember which one that came from. More Faber-Castell. This is another one. I do not remember which one, which company this is from. I've looked to see if there's like an etching on it or something, but I can't seem to find it. These are some really old ones. They're not stencils. These are old ones where you can use for stitching, where you can connect the dots to make like a little dot pattern, or you can use this if you're gonna put like perfect pearls or something, but I had no other place to put it, so it's gonna go with my stencils. Here's the other Prima stencils. Now here's the cool thing about the Prima stencils. They have, instead of just a slight edging, oops, kind of getting caught in there, they put a little mark on the edge of it, so I don't have to remember which one that is, which is pretty fun. The same with the Tim Holtz. I'm gonna go back to the Tim Holtz. This is another thing I really liked about the Tim Holtz stencil. Get in there. It's sticking to the bottom one. It's catching. All right, I'll leave that alone. The Tim Holtz one is right at the very beginning. Look, it even said what the name of it was, which is really cool. So that way you don't have to be like, well, which one was it? Did I already have it? It's kind of handy. The other thing I have tucked back in here, and I think this is what's causing my problem because I didn't take it out of the packaging, is I have all these masks, and I may find a better, you know what? I have actually a better spot to put these. These are all these old Prima masks, but they're kind of funny shapes. Not too bad. I might just pull them out and make a new pocket for them. And they're these really old fun masks that you use like a mist on it, and it's a mask. And then it creates the pattern on the paper when it's all done. I've never actually used them, but I think they're kind of a cool idea. So I might just tuck these, there's a little pocket back here, just back here for now. May forget they're there, but at least they have a spot for right this moment. Oh, this is a Martha Stewart one. It's stuck there. So I just wrote Martha. These ones are the ones that you can peel off and stick. The little repositional mats. I think these are an old Prima set, but there was no marking on them. And initially it came with a little, like a brad up at the corner, and you would have to like pull them apart, lay it down, stencil. These are like really, really old stencils. And a long time ago, I yanked them apart because I got so tired of flipping them around. But now what I've done is I've just used, and how often you can use a wetting brad, which is why I used it. Plus it was nice and big and it wouldn't pull through. A wetting brad that I can undo and pull out whichever stencil I want to happen to use for that particular time. This was a large sheet stencil at one point. I just happened to cut it just recently. So it went together like this. Look how big this was. This is like a sheet of paper, like an 8.5 by 11. And it was, there's no way I can fit this in here, but the beauty of it is because all the stencil pieces are just these strips, I just cut it in half, and now it actually will be easier for me to work with on a large sheet of paper. So I just put them together and tied them. These are Susan K. Worcester. I can never pronounce her name correctly. And then these are just some little random, some Punchello that I have that can definitely be used as stencils. And then I have some old light embossing ones. These are metal pieces, and so I threw them in here too. This one is actually another stencil, and this is by, forget. I don't remember who either of these are by. There's nothing written on them. So again, if you know who these are by, let me know. This just says GS170 ADT. No idea. Old ones that I happen to have. So I just threw them back here until I know for sure. And I can always go back and add the name of it. So this is my fun new way of storing my stencils. It's not too terribly fat, so it can fit kind of nicely on a little bookshelf. And you know, I can write on the front, and then this is all embossed on the front, so I can have some fun with that if I want to, or leave it if I want to. And I still have some pages where I can add some more. So, and you know, can definitely use my other, if I get more stencils and I don't have a place to put them, I have a whole nother smash book I can use. Or I may use my smash book for something else now that I've kind of thinking outside the box with it. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to use your supplies in some fun ways, and you never know, you might find a fun way of using something that you never thought would be the way. Please subscribe. Talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.